Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and I'm going to do a bit of an updated TBR today. New setup today, new plant. This is Randy. Look how pretty he is. We like him. Still figuring some things out, so let me know if you prefer this background to the plain white one I was using before. I'm still trying to figure it out. Bear with me. Also gonna start today's video off with a little bit of sad news. I've decided that I'm already feeling quite a bit overwhelmed and I'm gonna drop down to only posting once a week. So my uploading days will now be Friday. Just Friday at 7 PM UK time, like it's been the entire time I've had my channel. I might still post random little videos on Wednesdays if I have the time to film and feeling up to it, that kind of thing, but expect Fridays to be the main day for videos. It's hard to explain how much extra work it is to do 2 videos a week compared to 1, so if I feel like I can up it again once I'm into a routine, then I will, but for now we're going down to once a week. A little bit of sad news, I do apologise, but they'll be coming back on breaks and holidays and stuff, so they'll be back, don't worry. The plan for today's video is to give myself a TBR for the rest of the year, and then at the end of the year we'll see how many of them I actually read. It's like a challenge to myself and we'll see how that goes. Do like, subscribe if you enjoy my videos. If you want to stick around, it's very much appreciated. If you like the idea of this video, you may as well check out the other ones because they all came from the same brain, so you know, you might like them. Check them out. Okay, now we can get on into the books. I believe that's everything that I needed to say. So the first book on this list, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to because I'm very excited to read it and I think it might be my next read. That is Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. The story behind this one is that I watched She's the Man for the first time, which is a fantastically trash movie, by the way. I recommend it, and it's based on Twelfth Night, so I decided I was gonna read Twelfth Night. This is the Arden Shakespeare edition, and I particularly like this edition because it includes all the context, and context was my favourite part of A-level English literature, so I'm excited that it contains all the notes and history and annotations, etc. And I will very much enjoy reading those. I think it will help me understand the actual plot a hell of a lot more, and I love to give little random factoids about books and plays, so very much a big fan of this and I really can't wait to read it, so as soon as I finish Midnight Sun, we're doing this one. The next book on this list is another one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to because I'm very excited to read this in October, and that is Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. Now, I've been looking for this book for a really long time and I'd kind of given up on finding it, and then I was in Waterstones to buy Twelfth Night, and as I was walking to the till it was right there in front of me, so I had to pick it up and I'm really excited to read it. I actually haven't seen Practical Magic the movie, but I have every intention of getting to that this October, so I'm going to read the book first and then we'll do like a comparison. I could even do a comparison video if you wanted to see that. Let me know if you would also want to see like an October reads, like reading vlog, because I think that could be kind of fun. Keeping in line with the kind of eerie, October-y kind of reads, we have Wuthering Heights. If you watch my intimidating TBR tag, then you'll know this is on here. I am once again challenging myself to read this by the end of the year. I'm gonna look up a family tree and we're gonna see if that makes it any easier to understand what the hell's going on. This edition doesn't have any notes in it. We'll see how it goes. The next book that I really want to read by the end of the year is another one that I've mentioned in multiple videos and still have just not got round to buying. The Bone Witch by Rin Chapuko. I really hope I've pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I haven't. It started out as every time I went to buy it, it was out of stock. And then it kind of fizzled into me not checking to see if it was back in stock anymore. But I really want to read this. It's about a witch and she's a necromancer, and this kind of forces her to be ostracized by the rest of the witch community because it's a bit weird that she can talk to the dead. I believe there's like some kind of like magic teaching, like an elder teacher figure. It's always a fun trope, not one I have anything against. It's just been on my TBR for a really long time now. As soon as I saw it on Goodreads, I was like, I need to have that, and then I didn't buy it. I'm challenging myself to read it by the end of the year so it doesn't become one of those books that I'm like, yeah, I want to read that, and then never ever go out of my way to read. Keeping with the witch theme, the next book on this list is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is like a feminist fantasy novel and it's about a young witch and she kind of discovers discovers that she has darker powers than those around her, and I believe she exists in like a puritanical society. So it's going to be a really, really rich, interesting setting that you don't really see very often in fantasies. Excited about this one. Again, probably one I should get to on October, but October is much closer than it is in my head. October feels ages away, but it's really only a couple weeks away, so if I wanted to read all these books in October, I should probably order them now, and I'm not going to order them now. I also believe that this book deals with issues of race. I think our main character's family is ostracised because her mother marries a mixed race man. Dealing with feminism, racial issues in a fantasy, and it's a debut novel, so I'm very, very, very excited. I've heard really good things. I don't quite remember how I came across this book title, but I want it. This next book is one that I see on Hayley and Bookland's channel basically every time I watch her videos, and every time I say that I want to read it, and I never get around to it, and that is Wolf by Brian Growden. The plot of this book, it is kind of set in like Germany during Hitler's rule, and there's a bit of like a champion challenge type deal. So our main character decides that she's had enough, she's suffered a lot, so she's going to win this champion race thing so that she can have an audience with Hitler and she can kill him. It sounds like a much heavier book and not one that I would normally read, but so many people have spoken about it, and there's just something about it that really calls to me. So I definitely want to challenge myself to read that one, especially because it's so different from the books I normally read. And the last book that I'm going to talk about that I don't own yet, The Paris Hours by Alex George. Apparently I'm going for a lot of atmospheric, cozy reads for the rest of the year. I didn't decide that, but apparently every book that I'm like eager to read throughout the rest of the year is quite atmospheric and cozy. And it follows our main character, Camille, and she was a maid for Proust, and Proust asked her to get rid of all of his notebooks, and she kept one. And I believe now this book follows her trying to track down this notebook that she kept for herself and is now lost, before anyone discovers that she betrayed her employer. And then, of course, during this journey she meets this starving artist who has his own backstory and problems, and they come together, and I assume they help each other and come together. It just kind of seems the setting will play a really, really big role in this book, and a big Paris setting is always fun to read. I think any European setting actually is one of some of my favourite settings to read in, especially when they play such a big role. I put The Paris Hours on this list because it has been on my want to read in Goodreads for a really, really long time now. I think I added it in March. I need to get around to some of these books because they just sit there for years and years and I never get around to them, and then I just get behind and everyone else is reading cool books and I'm still catching up. The next book on this list is another one I think I've spoken about in my last 3 videos because apparently I'm obsessed with it now. And that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I love this cover, I love this edition, I'm so happy that I bought it, and it's so floppy and just fun. I love it. This is kind of a Dead Poet Society in book form. It's about these classic students at university, and they have a bit of an out there, eccentric teacher, and they start to kind of think outside the realms of their contemporaries, and it kind of leads them down this path that I'm assuming is quite dark maybe, and they have a lot of adventures. I don't know. I know I said 12th Night was next on my TBR, but honestly I think this one might be to get me back into that university spirit. So maybe we'll do this and then 12th Night. And okay, the last 2 books that I'm challenging myself to read by the end of the year is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I've had these for too long and I keep saying I'm going to read them, and they're too pretty to just sit around, and they are stunning editions. I really do mean to keep getting to them and I just haven't yet. And I really like Leigh Bardugo's writing. I'm just not sure if I want to be in the Grishaverse anymore. I don't know. That's kind of been my issue with it. Just I've started reading it and then just kind of been like, I don't know if I want to be in this universe at the minute. I'm switching to something else. It might be a bit of a struggle to get through them, but I'm sure once I'm into them, I'll be fine and I'll like it. So they're on the list just so I start. And if I don't get to them, you can roast me and make fun of me in December/January, depending on when I make the follow-up video to this. So if you have been living under a rock and you don't know what these books are, The Six of Crows is a duology which is set in the same universe as Leigh Bardugo's other trilogy, the Shadow and Bone trilogy. It's taken place from a different country within that universe. If you like Shadow and Bone, then definitely check this out. I don't actually know which ones you're supposed to read first. From what I've read of these, I would suggest reading the Shadow and Bone trilogy before these ones, but I could be wrong. Let me know down below because I don't want to be spreading false information. Here's my challenge to myself, plus the ones I haven't bought yet, to read by the end of the year. I believe there's 8 or 9 books on this list, so definitely doable. It's just whether I can actually be bothered to go out and purchase the ones that I haven't purchased yet, because that's usually where I fall down, where I just get lazy and don't buy them. So we'll see how it goes. Feel free to hold me accountable and remind me that I'm challenging myself with this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, as I said, do check out my other videos because they all came from up here. It's probably some kind of quality to them that you might enjoy. Do comment down below and have a conversation with me. It's always fun. I do try to reply to every single comment. So yeah, just let's have a chat about some books, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.